Right, just done my bit of gardening outside, so this afternoon I'm going to see if we can get some of these boards up. We're kind of getting close now to putting the beams in, the floor joists, so I want to peel up a few of these boards, hopefully in this, what was this first room. Obviously need to be careful, I don't know how easy they're going to come up. A lot of these boards are in reasonable condition, so I want to try and keep them. Whether we put them down on the floor again at some point, or whether we use them as like a panel into a wall rather than plastering. Possibility. Not sure yet, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to start by taking off this trapdoor. One of the leather straps that holds it on is rotted away, the other one's about to go, so it should just pull off, and then we'll start getting these boards up. As I've said before, and I've showed you before, they kind of interlock. It's kind of tongue and groove, but not quite. Each board has got on each edge has got a rebate, so they kind of interlock. It's going to make it a little bit tricky to get them up, but we'll see how we get on anyway. That's it. Right, so that's that off. This little board's not great. It's got a bit of worm in it and a bit of decay here. But we'll put it to one side. You know, we're going to put all of these boards to one side and we'll have a look at them in greater depth at a later date. I've taken this one up first because I was talking about rebates on the boards, and at that end the rebate on this board was on the bottom, so actually the wood was sitting on top of this next board, so that's why I've lifted that up and away, so there was no resistance. There was nothing, you know, to stop it coming up apart from the nails, obviously. And on this end the rebate was on the top, so this board was actually sitting underneath this next floorboard, if you understand that. I hope you do. So now we can kind of make a little bit of start on the main boards. It's going to be difficult because this first board is rebated, so this board is actually tucked underneath the next board along, so it's going to have to be lifted up at the wall, you know, bring it up at the wall first and try and feed it out, you know, at the same time as getting the nails, you know, getting the nails out. So it's going to be difficult, but you know, we'll have a challenge. So we'll crack on, see how we go. I'm actually a little bit unsure of how to do this. I think once we get this first board out of the way, we'll be okay. It's just lifting it up at an angle so that the boards aren't breaking off where the interlock. It's going to be very tricky. You know, the nails are making it tricky. If we could get the nails out, then that will be straightforward, but we can't. So I think what I've decided to do is I'm going to go from underneath and I'm going to try and get the nails that are nearest the wall. We've got 3 along this length. Started to get this first one out. If I can go underneath and prise against the joists underneath, hopefully I can start to release these 2 nails that are nearest the wall. And if we can get them coming away, start lifting the board, tilting it slightly, then we can start to try and release these front ones, and at the same time trying to pull it away from the board next to it. I can't think of anything else really, and we're going to lose a lot of these boards. I'm not trying to get out of this. This isn't a get out of jail free card, but the boards have got splits in them, there's rot, there's worm, but I don't want to just rip them out. You know, I want to try and get them out as carefully as possible, and we'll reuse what we can reuse. If we can get 30–40% of them, you know, used again, then we should be able to put them to good use. So we'll give it a go. I'll go down here, and you'll probably just see the wood not moving at all, but I'll do my best. I'm actually going to see if I can just chisel off, break off these frontmost nails. Obviously I've got thousands that I've kept, so we don't need them. And with them being, you know, obviously old and corroded, hopefully they should just crack off, and if they do, then that should mean we could, you know, we'll be able to get this out, you know, reasonably straightforward. So this is the end of the board. We did, let's see, managed to just break the very end of it off, but it's kind of all in vain really anyway. This here is very woodwormy, very rotteny, that's a strange word, very rotten, full of worm. We're going to have to cut this down at the very least. The rest of it is better, but it's not great. We'll maybe get a piece out of it, I don't know, but just so you can see, it's not good at all. Hopefully we'll get some out that are reasonable. So yeah, in theory, 3 nails at this side of the board. If we can get these up and out, they should tilt out. I think the further in we go, the better the boards are going to be, in theory. Hello? Hello? Right, we're back in the house this afternoon. I'm going to carry on with these floorboards. We'll start off by the 3 that are running parallel to the back wall. I think they should come up pretty easy because they're fairly, they're fairly worn and rotten, so I think they'll pop up quite without too much what's the word I'm looking for, resistance. And then we'll carry on doing the rest of these shorter ones that are kind of, going 90 degrees from the wall. They're coming up okay, as you've seen from the other clip. They seem to be coming up okay, but we're having to take his time with them. Go along them steadily and lift them up at an angle, and then they're coming out okay. We're managing to save most of them, and a lot of them are in good condition, so we'll be able to use them at some point in the future. And once we get this section up, then we can look at taking a few of these joists out and kind of offering up the beams really, and seeing how they're going to sit and where we need to be with them and one thing and another. They're just about manhandleable by myself, so we can kind of lift them in and take them out and one thing and another, until we get to where we need to be with them. So we're just about another metre or so length, or a little bit more thickness. I think we'll be struggling, but we're just about okay with them. So that's what we're going to do, and we'll carry on, see if we can get these 3 up first. Show you the bottom of these first few boards. These first few boards are sat on top of this this wall here, the wall between the bowel room and the little room, and I think there's obviously a bit of damp being trapped in these walls, and you can see some quite significant sort of corrosion on the underside. So hopefully we'll go across and the beams aren't sat on anything, so they've been getting more air around them to dry them off and one thing and another. I think we'll be okay, but these first few we're going to have to just cut them down, and use them where we can really. So this one, first one, that's away from the wall, and there's a couple of little splits in it, but we can deal with that. What is good is that there's no rot at all, so hopefully my theory about the ones that are sat on top of the wall, getting the damp into them, up to now appears to be correct. So we'll carry on and see what the rest are like, but that one's pretty good. can literally see as I'm levering that that board is just flexing. It's rotted away out of the wall, so there's nothing holding it at all.
Water. That's it, isn't it, Noosh?
Start by taking the ones that are running. Dear me. That door's going to be the death of me. Start again.